In the bustling city of Catropolis, where the streets were filled with the sounds of honking cars, chattering humans, and the occasional bark of a dog, there lived a sleek, black alley cat named Shadow. He roamed the city's rooftops and alleyways, blending seamlessly with the shadows, his emerald eyes glowing with curiosity and intelligence. Shadow loved the freedom of the city. During the day, he would sunbathe on the warm brick walls, watching the city from above. At night, however, was when he truly came alive. The city transformed under the cover of darkness, and so did Shadow. He prowled the moonlit streets, slipping unnoticed through the crowds, moving with a grace that other cats could only dream of. But lately, Shadow had been feeling different. It started with small things. He would dash across the street in the blink of an eye, or leap across rooftops with effortless agility. One night, as he chased a particularly fast mouse through the narrow alleys, he suddenly found himself moving at incredible speed. One moment he was crouching to pounce, and the next, he was on the other side of the alley, the mouse long forgotten. What just happened? Shadow wondered, looking at his paws as if they held the answer. His heart raced, not just from the thrill of the chase, but from the realization that something extraordinary was happening to him. That night, as he lay on his favorite rooftop, staring up at the star-filled sky, Shadow couldn't shake the feeling that he was destined for something greater. The city was his playground, but perhaps it could also be his mission. The next day, Shadow decided he needed answers. He knew exactly who to turn to: Pixel, the smartest bird in Catropolis. Pixel was a colorful parrot who lived in a hidden attic workshop, surrounded by gadgets and blueprints. Unlike other birds, Pixel was fascinated by human technology and had taught himself how to build all sorts of inventions. If anyone could help Shadow understand his newfound abilities, it would be Pixel. Shadow navigated the winding streets, leaping over fences and dodging busy feet, until he reached the old clock tower where Pixel lived. He meowed at the base of the tower, and soon, a flutter of wings announced the parrot's arrival. "Shadow! Long time no see," Pixel squawked, landing gracefully on a ledge. His feathers gleamed in shades of blue and green, and his sharp eyes sparkled with curiosity. "What brings you here?" Shadow quickly explained the strange powers he had discovered. Pixel listened intently, occasionally tilting his head and ruffling his feathers in thought. When Shadow finished, Pixel's eyes were wide with excitement. "This is incredible, Shadow. You're not just any cat, you're special," Pixel exclaimed. He immediately began rummaging through his workshop, pulling out a strange-looking helmet. "Let's do some tests. We need to find out exactly what you're capable of." Shadow was skeptical but curious. He allowed Pixel to fit the helmet over his head, the device buzzing with energy. Pixel's tiny claws tapped on a keyboard, and soon a holographic screen appeared, showing various data and charts. "According to my calculations," Pixel began, his voice rising with excitement, "you have super speed, enhanced agility, and, wait for it, you can blend into the shadows, almost becoming invisible. Shadow, you're a superhero in the making." Shadow's eyes widened. A superhero? He had always considered himself a lone wanderer, a simple alley cat, but the thought of becoming something more sent a thrill through his veins. Pixel flapped his wings excitedly. "With your powers and my tech skills, we could protect this city from all sorts of threats. We could be a team." Shadow hesitated, but the idea of using his powers for good resonated with him. "All right, Pixel," he said with a determined glint in his eye. "Let's do it. Let's protect Catropolis." Pixel was beyond thrilled to finally have a partner in heroics. "We need a superhero name for you," he chirped, flying in circles around Shadow. "Something that captures your stealth and speed." After some brainstorming, they settled on the name Shadowpaw. It was perfect, a name that embodied his mysterious powers and feline grace. Pixel wasted no time in creating a special suit for Shadow. Using bits of high-tech fabric and advanced materials he had scavenged, Pixel crafted a sleek, black suit that hugged Shadow's form perfectly. The suit came with built-in enhancements, like reinforced claws that could cut through steel, and a special visor that allowed Shadowpaw to see in complete darkness. "You're going to need this if you're facing dangerous villains," Pixel explained as he adjusted the suit. Catropolis is a big city, and there are a lot of creatures out there who might not have good intentions. With his new suit and a new sense of purpose, Shadowpaw was ready for his first mission. The timing couldn't have been better, because trouble was brewing in Catropolis. That very night, a strange broadcast interrupted all the screens across the city. The image was grainy, but the message was clear. A deep, menacing voice declared, "People of Catropolis, I am the Beastmaster, and soon, all animals will be under my control." Shadowpaw and Pixel exchanged a look of alarm. This was it, their first challenge as a team. Without wasting a moment, they sprang into action, determined to stop the Beastmaster's sinister plan. Shadowpaw dashed through the city with his new suit, feeling a surge of power like never before. Pixel flew beside him, carrying a backpack full of gadgets. As they approached the city center, they could see animals acting strangely, dogs barking wildly, birds flying erratically, and cats turning aggressive. "This must be the work of the Beastmaster," Pixel said, eyes wide. "He's using some sort of device to control them." Shadowpaw nodded. "Then we need to find him and shut it down, fast." With that, the duo raced into the heart of the city, ready to face whatever dangers awaited them. In the heart of Catropolis, where skyscrapers kissed the clouds and bustling streets were filled with life, lived a sleek, black cat named Shadow. To everyone around, Shadow seemed like an ordinary alley cat, one of many who roamed the city's streets. But Shadow was no ordinary feline, he had always been different. From the time he was a kitten, he felt an energy coursing through his veins, a power he could not quite understand. Shadow loved exploring the city. By day, he would lounge on sunlit rooftops, watching humans and animals go about their daily lives. By night, he would sneak through the darkest alleys, his fur blending seamlessly with the shadows. It was during one of these moonlit strolls that Shadow's life changed forever. One evening, as the moon hung high like a silver coin, Shadow heard strange noises coming from the abandoned warehouse near the docks. His curiosity piqued, he crept closer, his emerald eyes glowing in the dark. Inside the warehouse, he discovered a sinister scene. Animals of all kinds were acting strangely, their eyes glowing a hypnotic blue. A mysterious figure stood at the center, holding a glowing staff, laughing wickedly. "Soon, Catropolis will bow to my will," the figure declared. Shadow's fur bristled. He knew he had to stop this, but how? Suddenly, the villain turned, sensing his presence. "Who dares to spy on me?" they hissed. Shadow tried to escape, but something incredible happened. His body blurred, and in a flash, He was on the other side of the warehouse, hidden in the shadows. He had moved faster than he ever thought possible. Confused but exhilarated, Shadow escaped into the night, leaving the villain cursing behind him. What had just happened? As he pondered this, Shadow realized that the mysterious energy he felt all his life was actually a superpower. Determined to use his newfound abilities for good, Shadow made a vow he would become the protector of Catropolis. The next day, Shadow sought out the wisest creature he knew, an old parrot named Pixel who lived in a cozy attic filled with gadgets. Pixel was a genius with technology and loved tinkering with human inventions. "Pixel, you won't believe what happened to me last night," Shadow exclaimed, recounting his encounter at the warehouse. Pixel listened intently, his eyes widening with every word. "I've been waiting for this day, Shadow," Pixel squawked. "I always knew there was something special about you." Pixel quickly went to work, crafting a special suit for Shadow. It was sleek and black, with a glowing blue emblem of a paw on the chest. The suit amplified Shadow's speed and agility, and it even had retractable claws made of a material stronger than steel. "And I shall call you Shadowpaw," Pixel announced proudly. "The hero Catropolis needs." Shadowpaw felt a surge of confidence. With his new suit and a tech-savvy sidekick, he was ready to protect the city from any threat. But little did they know, the mysterious villain was already plotting his next move, preparing to unleash chaos upon Catropolis. It wasn't long before trouble found its way to Catropolis. Reports came in of animals behaving strangely all over the city. Dogs barking uncontrollably, birds flying in chaotic patterns, and cats turning against their owners. Shadowpaw and Pixel knew it was the work of the villain they encountered at the warehouse. "We have to stop him before the entire city is under his control," Shadowpaw said, determination burning in his eyes. They tracked the source of the disturbance to Catropolis Central Park, where a giant machine pulsed with blue energy. The villain was there, surrounded by mind-controlled animals. "You again," the villain sneered as Shadowpaw appeared. "You may have escaped last time, but you won't be so lucky now." Shadowpaw darted forward with blinding speed, dodging the mind-controlled animals and heading straight for the machine. Pixel, flying above, dropped tiny gadgets that released bursts of light, temporarily freeing the animals from the villain's control. As Shadowpaw reached the machine, the villain fired a blast of blue energy from his staff, but Shadowpaw leaped out of the way just in time. With a swift swipe of his reinforced claws, he destroyed the machine, sending sparks flying. The villain screamed in fury as his control over the animals broke. "This isn't over, Shadowpaw," he yelled before vanishing in a cloud of smoke. For now, the city was safe, but Shadowpaw knew this was just the beginning. He had a new enemy, and Catropolis was counting on him.